Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to take a look at a neat little critter, big critter, out of The Great Rift, Book 1. The Great Rift, Book 1. It's an Alo'Hei is the name of the creature. We're going to take a look at it. But I'm also going to show you a picture of a starship. Actually, no, it's not just a picture of a starship. There was a Traveler superfan, creative contributor. His name was Andrew Boulton. Unfortunately, Mr. Boulton passed away around 10 years ago. But his legacy lives on at least a little bit on YouTube. He has a channel that's still active on YouTube. And I'm going to feature a little bit of one of his videos just to show you what you can take a look at on his channel. There's only about 30 videos, if even that much, and most of them are very, very short. But they're animations of Traveler starships and different things. And I found these way back early on YouTube, and I always liked them. I appreciate them. So I thought, hey, what the heck? I'd mention them just in case you're out there and you haven't found these. I realize a lot of you would have found these by now, but if you didn't, we're going to take just a brief look at one of them, and we're also going to take a look at inside Book 1, The Great Rift. We're going to take a look at a creature that flies through space. Today on page 121. This is one of the animations. Turn that down a little bit. One of the animations Andrew Boulton did. This animation is, I think, about 16 years old. But it's just a mercenary cruiser going on a strike on a planet. I love these when I'm stuck for an idea or I just need a little traveler inspiration. This is one of the first places I go to, even before the books. I'll click on a few of these and just enjoy them. I think he did really nice work. So I'll click or attach a link below to his webpage, and you can take a look at it. And if you want to watch him, that'd be great. It's still an active page, so you can subscribe to it if you wish. I just think it means a lot to keep the legacy of a Traveler fan like this going. So that's it. Now we'll go to our regularly scheduled creature today, out of The Great Rift, Book 1. All right, out of an excellent book. This is Book 1 of the Great Rift box set from a few years ago. I just got my hands on it on PDF. I don't have the physical copies. But we have a nice little creature. One thing I've always loved about Traveler is everything is possible. And when I first started playing Traveler, I was trying to find if there were any kind of space creatures that were out there. In Empire Strikes Back, we had the big space worm that was going to eat chew the Millennium Falcon. We had Minox who were flying apparently either in the worm or on the ship before they went into the worm. I'm not sure, but I like creatures like that. And when I got into Traveler in 81, I really looked for creatures like that. There are some, but there's not a ton where they actually are in flying in outer space. And that's why when I was reading this, I got to page 16, and really enjoyed what I read. Features of the Great Rift. Peoples of the Great Rift is the section, and they are the Alo'Hei or Alo'Hei, depending on how you want to say it. Alo'Hei are described as living starships. They're large and fantastically beautiful creatures able to fly through space. It's thought they have a natural ability to have a gravity-based propulsion field, much like starships have. There's some question as to whether they might even actually be able to go into jump space, which is pretty neat. They're typically several hundred meters to a kilometer or so long. That's pretty darn big. It looks like a gossamer rainbow of tendrils and protoplasmic matter. So basically like a big, massive, beautiful jellyfish in space. There are areas that emit many frequencies within the creature. The whole electromagnetic spectrum, emitting X-rays, radio waves, and visible light. They have shifting gravitational effects within their structure and become more solid at need by producing a localized gravity field. This is thought to be connected to their means of propulsion, but nothing's really been proven with these guys. It is known that they are social creatures. Groups of up to 20 have been observed, although such a large group is rare. Seeing one Alo'Hei is a privilege for starfarers. Witnessing a group sporting in the upper atmosphere of a gas giant is a life-changing experience for many. Definitely a life-changing experience, but could be a pants-changing moment too if you're trying to go in and refuel, and these things are anywhere near your ship. These are pretty huge, and nobody really knows what they are or what they do. If they're intelligent, if they're just creatures in space. They don't respond to attempts to commune with them, although their electromagnetic pattern and visible light displays shift all the time, maybe an attempt to communicate that we just don't understand. They'll follow a starship for a while, but are not known to be hostile. And there is evidence they are well disposed or even kindly towards other starfarers. When a pinnace from the long-range exploration ship Valimu lost power and began to fall into an atmosphere of an undisclosed gas giant, it was reportedly surrounded by an Alo'Hei and dragged to safety before being ejected on a course aimed precisely at the primary docking area. So, pretty interesting. They're not creatures of space myth. These are actual creatures that exist in the Traveler universe. No problem with just putting them in as a passing encounter, although you could do something with them. Maybe they are, you've come across a sick one and it decides it's going to grab onto your starship and it's going to start leaching power. There's an episode of Star Trek Next Generation where a big space whale has a baby and the baby leaches to the starship and starts sucking away the Enterprise's power. So it could be something like that. That would be a fun story for your players to have to work out, and literally they can't shoot their way out of it. It's not known what they eat or how they reproduce. Some have been observed to approach close to a star and fluff out tendrils, looking for all the world like massive incandescent feathers. It's presumed they gather solar energy in this manner, but nobody's sure. On rare occasions, they've been reported to be hostile. Several defense mechanisms have been observed. The Alo'Hei are also very difficult to target with conventionally aimed or guided weapons, and even if a hit is scored, conventional weapons are ineffective against the dispersed matter of the Alo'Hei. The following tentative tactical assessments have been made. Missiles and torpedoes will simply not lock onto the creature, requiring a manual dumb launch with no benefit from any smart trade on the missile. It is treated as having 12 points of armor, although there's more energy absorption and rigid protection. All damage dice are treated as D3 less, or D3 instead of D1, 1D. So basically half damage. A laser beam would do 2D3 damage and would have no chance of causing any real harm. The Alo'Hei would be aware of the attack and might take some, might react to it. A gravitic nudge can push an Alo'Hei at thrust 4, so they're darn fast. And they can use their gravitic nudge to impart force on an object within close or adjacent range. That's how they pushed the shuttle in the aforementioned situation. And they can do damage depending on how hard they push you, but they can be very precise with this. So, pretty interesting little creature. The multispectral spectral pulse seems to be a threat response, but can occur when there is no obvious danger. It will white out all ship sensors within long range for one round. So just a pulse that just blanks your sensors for a bit. And a psionic screech has been reported, but not by reliable sources. According to those who claim to have experienced it, the screech takes the form of a massive sensory overload that causes 1d6 stun damage per round. It can be sustained for 1d rounds and extends to long range. So pretty interesting. They might be psionic, they might not. And here we have a chart of their size. I just found these really interesting. I love any kind of space creatures in Traveler. There are a few. And as I go through some more of this series, taking a look at different creatures, it's not going to be just space creatures, but when I find some, I will. But I'm going to take a look at other creatures and encounters. And these are going to be more focused on actual flora or fauna in the region you might be exploring, as opposed to creatures you would necessarily interact with, have dealings with or anything. Just, an animal you might encounter or a deadly plant you might encounter, something like that. So I'm going to do a couple of videos on these just to show some of the different creatures that are featured. And I was surprised to find this one within the Great Rift book 1. I was really surprised when I came across this one. So there you have it. By the way, this is an outstanding book. I'll go back to the cover. The Great Rift, outstanding book. As I said, I only have the ebook of it, but that's okay. I've thoroughly enjoyed book 1 so far, and I've recently started book 2. So I might thumb through book 1 sometime down the line. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. But that's it. That's all I've got to say about the Alo'Hei today. Again, remember the Andrew Boulton videos. If you like what you heard and saw, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends. I also have a Patreon going with some rewards, so if you want to take a look at that, that'd be great. And that's all I've got to say today on page 121. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.